Hey, Shalom family, Most High in Christ bless. It's your brother, Captain Josiah here. This is another edition of 15 Minutes with the Captains, all right? With the Captains. So the title of today's class is Need to Operate in Wisdom, okay? You need, I need, we need to operate in wisdom, okay? Give me Romans chapter 13, verse 1. And I'm using this title now based on this scripture, the need to operate in wisdom.
Romans chapter 13 and verse 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
Now listen to this again. Read again.
And that knowing the time.
Knowing the time that we live in, we're in the last days. The last days are, we're in there now. I was about to say approaching, but we in them now. Okay, Christ's kingdom is approaching. Go ahead.
That now.
That what?
That now.
That now, right now. Go ahead.
It is high time.
It is high time. Good.
To awake out of sleep.
To awake out of sleep. All right. To awake out of sleep and operate in wisdom. Read on.
For now is our salvation nearer than when we had believed.
You see this now, and even at that time. Listen, that was a long time ago. But he says, now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. Right. So brothers and sisters, likewise, all of us, we need to operate in wisdom. Okay. So now let's start with that first video. Let me get that first video.
World. The material world
Let's turn it up.
is utterly incapable of providing lasting happiness. It's just you have to get to the ends of the things and still be miserable to realize that. People talk about...
Okay, pause it. He said the material world is utterly incapable of providing happiness. Okay? Hence, the need to operate in wisdom. It's not immaterial wealth. It's not there. Play that part again. Play it from the top.
The material world is utterly incapable of providing lasting happiness. It's just you have to get to the ends of the things and still be miserable to realize that. People talk about rock bottom. I coined a phrase that there's a corresponding place called, I call it cliff top, where you wear out everything in the material world. It is an absolute abyss when you realize that there's nothing left in this world to reach for to make you happy. And then
So he made an opposite term of rock bottom to cliff top. So now there's a particular point in the world you can get to where it's like you have everything, all the cars, all the houses, all the vacations, you've been everywhere, and it's utterly miserable. You're not happy. Play on, is that it? That's it? All right, come on.
Realize that the final frontier is getting your inner house in order.
So you realize the final frontier, when it's all said and done, get your inner house in order. Now, play it from the top one more time. And we're going to go to one of our forefathers because one of our forefathers lived through this same exact thing. Play this.
The material world is
Romans 15 and 4.
Incapable of providing lasting happiness. It's just you have to get to the ends of the things and still be miserable to realize that. People talk about rock bottom. I coined a phrase that there's a corresponding place called, I call it cliff top, where you wear out everything in the material world. It is an absolute abyss when you realize that there's nothing left in this world to reach for to make you happy.
Pause it. Okay, give me Romans 15 and 4.
The book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
What is this talking about? The Bible. It's not talking about the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Gilgamesh epics, okay? It's talking about not the Quran, It's talking about the Bible. Read it again.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
Things written in the Bible is written for our learning. Go ahead.
That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
That we, through patience and comfort through the scriptures, we can have hope. So we can read the Bible. We can open the Bible up, look at the examples of our forefathers, the things that they did, the things they went through, good and bad, and learn from them. So now we're going to go to Solomon in Ecclesiastes, okay, based on what he said. Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and start at verse 16.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 16. I commune.
Well, start at 14.
Verse 14. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun.
I've seen everything done under the sun. Go ahead.
And behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit.
All of it is vanity and vexation of spirit. It's pointless, useless. It's nothing there. Go ahead.
That which is crooked cannot be made straight.
That which is crooked cannot be made straight. Read on.
And that which is wanting cannot be numbered.
Things that are lacking, you can't count it as something profitable. I've seen it all. This stuff is vanity. Go ahead.
I communed with my own heart, saying, Lo, I am come to great estate, and have gotten more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem.
You see this? Read on.
Yea, my heart had great experience of wisdom and knowledge.
My heart had great experience of wisdom and knowledge. Go ahead.
And I gave my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly.
And to know what?
Madness and folly.
So Solomon gave his mind to know wisdom and foolishness as well. So he dipped and dabbled in the world, played around. Let me check this out. Let me see what the Kamash is talking about, the Moabite guy, the Ammonites guy, and so forth. Let me check this stuff out. All the wealth that I have, he became idle. Okay, read on.
I perceive that this also is vexation of spirit.
You see what he says? I perceive, now I understand, all of this is vexation of spirit. It's no profit. There's no value in it. Okay? Read that again, 17.
And I gave my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is vexation of spirit.
Now, let's jump to chapter 2, verse 11.
Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 11. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought.
So now, I looked at everything that my hands had wrought. I'm at the cliff top. I have everything. Go ahead.
And on the labor that I had labored to do. And behold, all was vanity.
All is what?
All was vanity.
Everything that I'm seeing before me, the best gold, the best wood, silver, diamonds, the best fabrics, the linens and so forth, it's all vanity. Go ahead.
And vexation of spirit.
And vexation of spirit. Read on.
And there was no profit under the sun.
You see what it says? There was no profit under the sun. All this stuff is of no value. You're still missing something inside. Because why? God has an intended purpose for all of us on earth. And it's not necessarily you putting all your, matter of fact, let me say not necessarily. It's absolutely not putting all your effort into getting money, wealth, fame, and so forth. That is not your purpose on earth. Read that part again.
And I turned myself to behold wisdom.
Yeah.
And verse 11. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought, and on the labor that I had labored to do.
You know what? Let's jump up. Let me see. Let's read some of it. I'm about to make this longer. 15 minutes with the captains. Let's jump up to verse 4.
Verse 4. Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 4. I made me great works. I builded me houses. I planted me vineyards. I made me gardens and orchards.
So I got vineyards, gardens, orchards. Go ahead.
And I planted trees in them of all kinds of fruit.
All kinds of fruit. Go ahead.
I made me pools of water, that water therewith the wood that bringeth forth trees.
Come on.
I got me servants and maidens, and had servants born in my house.
Watch this.
Also, I had great possessions.
Also, just besides that, I had great possessions. Go ahead.
Of great and small cattle above all that were in Jerusalem before me.
Read on.
I gathered me also silver and gold.
I got silver, gold. Read on.
And the peculiar treasure of kings and of the provinces.
Now, what is that? And the peculiar treasures of kings and of provinces. Listen, I don't even know what that is. Okay, another level of wealth. Again, the cliff top. Read on.
I gat me men singers and women singers, and the delights of the sons.
You know, like I said, I don't know what it is, but think about all the precious stones that you could possibly think of. Solomon had everything. Okay, read on.
And the delights of the sons of men, as musical instruments, and that of all sorts.
All types of musical instruments, any type of music you want to hear, all that. I've heard it all. I've seen it all. Go ahead.
So I was great and increased more than all that were before me in Jerusalem. Also, my wisdom remained with me.
Also, so from a carnal perspective, I had everything, but my wisdom remained in me. Read on.
And whatsoever mine eyes desired, I kept not from them.
Now, that ain't wisdom. He says, whatever I wanted to do, whatever I saw and I liked it, I gave it to myself. Okay? I let it happen. Read it again.
And whatsoever mine eyes desired,
anything my eyes desired, go ahead,
I kept not from them.
I kept not from them. I'm like, oh, I like that. Yeah, let me try this. I like this. I like that. Okay? Whatever he wanted, he did it. Go ahead.
I withheld not my heart from any joy.
Read.
For my heart rejoiced in all my labor.
Come on.
And this was my portion of all my labor.
What?
Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought.
So after all of that, I gave whatever my eyes saw that I liked, I gave my heart unto it. Okay? Then I looked and saw all of that. Read on.
And on the labor that I had labored to do.
Read on.
And behold, all was vanity.
All of that was vanity. It was of no profit. Go ahead.
And vexation of spirit.
Vexation of spirit. Read.
And there was no profit under the sun.
You see this? No profit under the sun. This was the richest man ever to live on the planet. Okay? He had everything. So even, Will Smith, on a small scale compared to Solomon, he called it the cliff top. Solomon told us already, listen, it's of no profit. All this wealth, fame, fortune, so forth, women, okay, gardens, vineyards, all manner of fruit, precious gold, silver, peculiar treasures, but it's nothing. Read.
And I turned myself to behold wisdom and madness and folly. For what can the man do that cometh after the king?
So he gave himself to know wisdom, madness, and folly. So again, he went off, okay? All his wealth caused him to go off. He stopped serving the Lord properly. Now, play that video one more time. I just want the last part.
With no money, with nothing, can you cultivate a joyful spirit just with you and you?
Okay, play a little bit more, Right, that's good right there.
Absolute abyss when you realize that there's nothing left in this world to reach for to make you happy. And then you realize
this part right here. And then you realize after all of that, remember, this is what Solomon went through. Go ahead.
Final frontier is getting your inner house in order with no women, with no drugs, with no money, with nothing. Can you cultivate a joyful spirit just with you and you?
You see this? So at the end, you have to cultivate or get your inner house in order, your inner house, your spirit. Now, give me that in Ecclesiastes 12. Watch this.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Come on.
Fear God.
Solomon says the conclusion of the entire matter, the reason why you're on the planet Earth is to do what?
Fear God.
Read on.
And keep his commandments.
Fear God and keep his commandments. Read on.
For this is the whole duty of man.
That's the whole duty of man. Fear God and keep his commandments. That's all we got to do, brothers and sisters. That's where your happiness lies right there. That's where your joy is. Remember the scripture says the joy of the Lord is your strength. It's in keeping God's commandments. Read it one more time.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments.
Read.
For this is is the whole duty of man.
That's the whole duty of man. Read on.
For God shall bring every work into judgment.
God is going to bring every single work into judgment. Read.
And every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Whether it be good or evil. Give me 1 John 2:15. Then I'm going to go to the second video after this.
The book of 1 John, chapter 2 and verse 15.
Watch this.
Love not the world.
The Bible says, don't love the world. Go ahead.
Neither the things that are in the world.
Neither the things that are in the world. Read on.
If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
That's what some brothers and sisters still struggle with as they come into this truth. Or before you even walk or set foot through these doors is because you still love the world. You still love getting high, being drunkards, whoremongers, and so forth. Whores, clubbing. Read it again.
Love not the world.
Don't love the world. Go ahead.
Neither the things that are in the world.
Read on.
If any man love the world,
if you love the world,
the love of the Father is not in him.
The love of these scriptures, the Most High and His Son, is not in you. Read.
For all that is in the world,
everything that is in the world, go ahead.
The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes.
You see that? The lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes.
And the pride of life.
The pride of life.
Is not of the Father, but is of the world.
That's why Solomon says all of that's vanity and vexation of spirit. Okay? No profit at all for any of us. Read on.
And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
All right, give me the next video.
What's one thing you did when you were in your 20s that you regret? That would change your life today.
I regret being a hoe.
So now, when I was in my remember the class title, Need to Operate in Wisdom. He's an older man now reflecting, just like Solomon did. He said, look at everything that I did before, but it's unprofitable. It's of no value. This older brother here is saying the same thing. Looking back, I should have operated in wisdom. I needed that wisdom back then. So play it again.
What's one thing you did when you were in your 20s that you regret? That would change your life today.
I regret being a hoe. When I was in my 20s, I was a hoe.
What do you mean by that?
I was a hoe. I was doing a lot of women that I shouldn't have been doing, and I had a family that I could deal with. So I was just out there doing, anybody. Not like that, but I was just picking and choosing what I wanted and who I wanted. Because I had a little reputation here in Springfield, and that got me a lot of things, and especially a lot of women.
Pause it. Let's go to Hebrews 11:25. Oftentimes, that's what happens with brothers and sisters alike. You start to get a little reputation, which means fame. Be like, oh, that's so-and-so. That's so-and-so. He's cute. She's pretty. Such and such. Big butt. Whatever the hell it is. Okay? And you like the attention, and it causes you to fall. Watch this right here.
The book of Hebrews.
Watch what happened. Remember, Romans 15:4. Things written aforetime is written for our learning. Let's see what happened with Moses. Watch this.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 11 and verse 25. Choosing rather to suffer affliction.
This is Moses. He chose to suffer affliction. Go ahead.
With the people of God.
With Israel. Read on.
Than to enjoy the pleasures of sin.
Than to enjoy the what?
The pleasures of sin for a season.
Choosing to suffer affliction than to enjoy the little small pleasures of sin for a season. Okay? Read on.
Esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures of Egypt.
You see that? He understood the reproach of Christ is greater riches because it's greater riches on the other side of that. This carnal stuff that we got now is greater riches on the other side of this. Okay? Now, give me, play more. Play on. It's more on that. Yep. Let's play more on that video.
And I regret using them and, regret using who I was.
Wow, so you would have not, smashed the women?
I wouldn't have smashed them like I did, no.
What would you would have did?
What would I would have done? Stay with my one son's mother and been married and been happy today. You know, that's probably a regret that I've gotten over, but I would still be with her because I still have some.
Let's go to Proverbs 7. Start at 1.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 7 and verse 1.
Watch this. The need to operate in wisdom. Watch this.
My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee.
Notice it says, my son, keep my words. So now this is an example of a father teaching his son. Just like the older gentleman can now reflect and he can say, this is what y'all need to do. Go ahead.
Bind them upon thy finger, keep my commandments and live.
That's the key. Keep God's commandments and live. Read on.
And my law as the apple of thine eye.
Keep God's laws as the apple of your eye, your primary focus in life. Seek the kingdom first. Read on.
Bind them upon thy fingers. Write them upon the table of thine heart.
Go ahead.
Say unto wisdom.
Say unto wisdom. This is what you need to say to wisdom. Read.
Thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman.
Keep wisdom close to you like a kinsman. Okay, read on.
That they may keep thee from the strange woman.
You see that? The wisdom can keep you from the strange woman. Go ahead.
From the stranger which flattereth with her words. For at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and behold, among the simple ones I discerned among the youths a young man void of understanding.
A young man that needs to operate in wisdom. Read on.
Passing through the street near her corner. And he went the way to her house.
Go ahead.
In the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot.
And that's what he fell into. Women with the attire of harlots. Now, I'm going to stop there. Give me, is there more in the video? Play on? Yeah, it was more. It was more on this. Watch this. I'm running over time. Bear with me.
Great feeling for her in my heart, but I know how to navigate through that. But I wouldn't have been the hoe that I was back then.
So what made you be a hoe?
It was ingrained in me, my uncle.
So now listen. What made you do that? He says it was ingrained in him. Play on.
Hoe. My grandfather was a hoe. My brothers
Uncles,
was hoes.
Grandfathers, brothers, go ahead.
Hoes. My cousins was hoes.
Cousins hoes.
I'm sorry, it might not sound right. My mama was a hoe.
Dang.
I'm telling the truth.
You hear this?
You know.
Mama was a hoe. Play on.
She had 6 kids by 5 different men. Don't that qualify?
That does qualify. Guess what? If you have sex with more than one man or one woman, you were a hoe. Okay? We were hoes. Okay? Hence the need to operate in wisdom. You young brothers, young sisters, learn from this. Don't fall, okay, and do the opposite. And I'm gonna show y'all something on that in a second. Give me Sirach 37 and 11. Okay? He was a product of his environment. Now watch this. Sirach 37, verse 11.
The book of Sirach, chapter 37 and verse 11. Neither consult with a woman touching her of whom she is jealous, neither with a coward in matters of war, nor with a merchant concerning exchange, nor with a buyer of selling, nor with an envious man of thankfulness, nor with an unmerciful man touching kindness, nor with the slothful for any work, nor with an hireling for a year of finishing work,
Go ahead.
nor with an idle servant of much business. Hearken not unto these in any manner of counsel.
See what it says? Hearken not to any of these in any matter of counsel. So you cannot go to somebody that's a whore or a hoe and say, hey, what should I do about such and such? Guess what they're going to tell you? Hey, go ahead and hit that. You know? Yeah, you need to try it out. Sow your royal oats, as they used to say back in the day. So what's the solution? How do we operate in wisdom? Read the next verse.
Verse 12. But be continually with a godly man.
So leave the hoes and whoremongers alone. It says what again?
But be continually with a godly man.
Be continually with a godly man. Read.
Whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord.
Whom you know to keep God's commandments. Read.
Whose mind is according to thy mind. And will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry.
Right. And a brother will fix you or help you when things are going wrong. Okay? Be continually with a godly man. Now, give me the last video. Give me the last video. All right, we're going to close it out. I know I ran over. I apologize.
A fool never learns from their mistakes. A dumb person learns from their mistakes eventually. A smart person learns one lesson from a mistake. A very smart person.
Play it again from the top.
A fool never learns from their mistakes.
Pause it. A fool will never learn from his own mistakes. We can't be like that. Play on.
A dumb person learns from their mistakes eventually.
A dumb person learns eventually. Keep falling, doing the same dumb stuff over and over and over again. Okay? You know, they say that, what's it called? They call it that, what is it? Insanity. The definition of insanity is continuing to doing the same things over and over and over again, expecting different results. Play on.
A smart person learns one lesson from a mistake.
A smart person will learn one lesson. Okay, I see this right here. Go ahead.
A very smart person learns multiple lessons.
A very smart person learns multiple lessons. Go ahead.
From a mistake. A wise man learns from the mistake of others.
Pause. That's what I want us to focus on. A wise man learns from others' mistakes. So now we should read in the scriptures. We understand Solomon went after wealth, women, fame, and so forth. He said it's vanity and vexation of spirit. Just like Will Smith, he said, listen, I reached the cliff top, basically. There's nothing there. Okay? You got to get your spirit right is what he's saying. Then the older brother, he says, listen, I wish I wouldn't have went out there and been a whore, dealing with women after women after women. Yeah, it looks good. Right? And the Bible says sin is pleasurable. But guess what? It's not worth your soul. It's not worth your spirit. In eternal damnation. Okay? So I'm over my time, Israel. All right? Lord's willing, y'all got some out of the lesson. All right? So we need to operate in wisdom. It's your brother, Captain Josiah. Shalom. All right?